Have you ever tried putting a modern smartphone into a pair of women's jeans? If you're a woman, you already know the answer. It falls out. If you're a man, you've probably wondered why your girlfriend is asking you to hold her phone, her keys, her wallet, and her sanity every single time you step out of the house. Or what about your office building? Have you ever noticed that while guys walk around in short sleeves feeling totally fine, women are huddled under oversized desk blankets in the middle of July, clutching hot cups of coffee just to survive the air conditioning? Are these just random, annoying coincidences? Or is there something deeper going on? What if I told you that from the temperature in your office to the pockets on your pants, the phones in our hands, and even the safety features inside your car, our modern world was designed around one single blueprint? A blueprint created for a 5'9", 170-pound male. Welcome to the phenomenon of default male design. Today, we're unpacking how living in a world built for men isn't just inconvenient. It's actually a design crisis hiding in plain sight. Let's start with a situation where design isn't just about comfort. It's about life or death, driving a car. When you step into a vehicle, you assume the engineers who built it designed the seatbelts, airbags, and seats to protect everyone equally, right? Well, let's look at the numbers. For decades, regulatory crash tests around the world required cars to be tested using one standard dummy model, a 50th percentile male. He was modeled on the average male body height, weight, muscle mass, and bone density. Now you might think, didn't they test female bodies too? Here's the wild part. Up until surprisingly recently, automotive safety regulators didn't require a crash test dummy that matched average female biomechanics. When regulatory bodies did start using a female dummy, they didn't actually create a realistic female body. Instead, they took the male dummy, scaled him down to represent a 5-foot-tall, 110-pound person, and put her in the passenger seat. Because women generally have shorter legs, they sit closer to the steering wheel and pedals. Because women have different bone density, neck strength, and muscle mass, a seatbelt fits a woman's body completely differently than a man's. The result? A landmark study by the University of Virginia found that when a woman is involved in a car crash, she is 47% to 73% more likely to be seriously injured than a man in the exact same crash, even when wearing a seatbelt. Think about that. It's not that women are worse drivers or more fragile. It's simply that the car's safety gear was never engineered to protect them in the first place. Now, let's step out of the car and walk into the office. Why is every corporate building in the Western world set to a freezing 21 to 22 degrees Celsius, or 70 degrees Fahrenheit? To find out, we have to go back to the 1960s. In the 1960s, scientists established standard indoor air conditioning formulas based on the resting metabolic rate of a 40-year-old, 154-pound man. Here's the problem: biology matters. On average, women have a resting metabolic rate that is roughly 30% slower than men's. Women generally prefer room temperatures around 24 to 25 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit, so when office thermostats are dialed to 21 degrees, they are calibrated perfectly for a man wearing a full suit and tie, while completely freezing out half the workforce sitting right next to him. And speaking of everyday office frustration, let's talk about pockets. Is the pocket gap just a fashion choice or a deliberate design difference? A famous data study analyzed 80 pairs of popular jeans, measuring pockets across major brands. The verdict? On average, women's pockets are 48% smaller and 65% narrower than men's pockets, even when both pairs of jeans have the exact same waist size. In fact, only 40% of women's front pockets can completely fit an average smartphone, compared to 100% of men's pockets. In 1954, legendary designer Christian Dior famously declared, "Men have pockets to keep things in, women for decoration." Decades later, women are still forced to carry handbags just to transport basic items like keys, wallets, and phones. While small pockets and cold offices are annoying, the default male bias gets far more serious when we look inside the medical system. If I ask you to imagine someone having a heart attack, what do you see? You probably picture someone clutching their chest, feeling a crushing pain radiating down their left arm and collapsing to the floor. That is indeed the textbook classic symptom of a heart attack for a man. For decades, medical school textbooks, clinical drug trials, and public health campaigns were based almost exclusively on male test subjects. Researchers often excluded female, mice and human female subjects from early-stage clinical trials because female hormonal cycles were considered too complicated or variable for clean data. Because of this male-centric data gap, millions of people don't know that women experiencing a heart attack frequently present with entirely different symptoms: severe shortness of breath, nausea, back or jaw pain, and extreme fatigue. Because these symptoms don't match the male standard, women having heart attacks are significantly more likely to be misdiagnosed, told they're having a panic attack, or sent home from emergency rooms without treatment. From prescription drug dosages tested primarily on male weights to diagnostic criteria, ignoring biological sex differences in medical research leaves half the world with worse care. Let's bring it back to technology. Have you noticed how smartphones keep getting bigger every single year? The average flagship smartphone screen is now over 6.5 inches diagonally. That's great for watching videos, but here's the catch. The average male handspan is about 9 inches, while the average female handspan is around 7.8 inches. When tech companies test screen usability with one-handed thumb movement, they calibrate it to the average male grip. For women, using a giant phone with one hand often leads to thumb strain, frequent drops, or having to use two hands for basic tasks. Even early speech recognition and AI voice models struggled with gender bias. Early voice command software was trained primarily on male voice databases, making it up to 70% more likely to misinterpret or fail to recognize higher-pitched female voices. And it doesn't stop at tech. Look at city planning. Why are public bathroom lines at concerts, airports, and theaters always 4 times longer for women than for men? Architects used to build equal square footage for male and female restrooms. Sounds fair on paper, right? Except it isn't. Men's restrooms fit both stalls and urinals, allowing for fast turnover. Women's restrooms only have stalls. Furthermore, women are statistically more likely to accompany children, elderly family members, or manage pregnancy needs, taking longer per visit. Equal space isn't equal access. It's bad human-centered design. When you look at all these examples together, it's clear this isn't about malicious intent. Most designers, engineers, and scientists weren't trying to hurt women. It happened because for centuries, the people sitting in the room making decisions were overwhelmingly men. And when you design a tool, a car, or a law based only on your own lived experience, you naturally treat your own body as the default. The good news? Awareness changes everything. Today, female crash test dummies are finally being developed with realistic female anatomy. Medical boards are enforcing sex disaggregated clinical research. Fashion brands are starting to realize that women actually want functional pockets. When we stop assuming one single body type represents all of humanity, design gets better, safer, and smarter for everyone. What is one everyday item or rule that you think was definitely not designed with you in mind? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe to Her Story Decoded, and share this video with someone who's tired of cold offices and small pockets. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.